Hey everyone, Richard Metal Fan here. Today we talk Nymphetamine by Cradle of Filth. Now, this is their overall sixth full-length studio album, and this came out like only a year after Damnation in a Day, which is kind of crazy. And they got yet again signed to another record label after leaving Sony Records. They got signed to Roadrunner Records, which is another one of those big labels. And I feel like I know this album Nymphetamine, it kind of follows with what Damnation in a Day had done. It just sounds pretty much equally as good as that. No, know a lot of people kind of had like mixed feelings with this album as Damnation in a Day because with they got signed to a major label, people are gonna lose their shit and be like, oh, they're gonna sell out and turn like on to those other artists, which is not true for the most part. I mean, there's some artists that do that, but I don't think well, most of our, but some of them don't. They still manage to stay to their roots, and that's pretty much what Cradle has done. But still have a little bit of different elements in there, which kind of makes all their albums sound kind of different, which is what I like about them. But yeah, Nymphetamine, I mean, it's really good. It's a really good album. I know a lot of people kind of mixed feedback with this album, but I like it. Just the guitar work on this album is just really fabulous. I mean, Paul Allender and I forgot the other guitar player's name. They come up with some really great riffs on this album. I really like that a lot. And Danny Filth's vocals just sound as sick as ever. I really like that a lot. Especially like kind of like sounds like the typical gothic and type black metal type vocals, and even just like some of the more deeper type stuff he does. It's kind of insane. And the drumming, I mean, Adrian Eraldson is just one of the sick best drummers I've ever heard. It's just his drumming on this album is just like all over the place, and it's just wow. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into this track by track. Now, the album opens up with the song Satiricis, which is kind of a little bit of a very good beginning. I think it starts off with some beautiful symphonies, and this pretty much kind of prepares you to what you're about to listen to the album, and that follows into the song Gilded Cunt. Yeah, I know this kind of sounds a bit offensive, but I don't know. If we just like ignore the title, the song itself is really good. I mean, Danny Phillips' vocals just like his just highs and his just shrieks just sound wow, and just the guitar riffs in that song is just furious. It just this song is pretty much very upbeat, and it just makes you want to like fucking bang your head. This is pretty much one of my favorite Cradle of Filth songs, and one of my favorites. My pretty much my favorite song on this album. It's just insane. Then we get to Nemesis. Now this album is the song. I can't speak today. The song Nemesis. It's really good. It's just very punishing. It's just very wonderful riffs. And I really like the lyrics. It's just very poetic. It's just wow. Then we get to Gabrielle. I really like sort of the keyboard parts on that song, especially. I mean, Martin Powell comes up with some really great keyboard parts, and it's sad that it's this. I think this is the last album with him on keys, if I'm not mistaken. He just like his like on this song, Gabrielle. It just kind of gives this song kind of like a very gothic overture to it, and it just sounds very grim and misty. I love that. And then we get to Absinthe with Faust. Really like that song a lot, especially the keyboard melodies on that song is really good. And then we get to Nymphetamine, and then parentheses Overdose, which I believe is the first Cradle song since I think Dusk in Her Embrace. Correct me if I'm wrong. To feature a guest appearance, and this features Liv Christine from Leaves Eyes. And this song itself, it's really good. I really like the beginning. Just sounds very aggressive, and it just has some really great riffs. And this and like Liv's vocals kind of gives a like more of a epicness type vibe to it, which kind of sounds like a mixture of the two, which is pretty good. And then we get to a little interlude, which is Painting Flowers White, Never Sweeted My Palate, which is kind of like a little interlude. I mean, there's not really much to talk about with that song. And then we could get into Medusa and Hemlock. Look, I really love the guitar work in there. It's just very wonderful, and just the choir chants in that song just makes it sound even more epic. Gives it more epic. It's just wow. And then we get to a Coffin Fodder, which kind of follows up with some awesome guitar work. It's another great song. I mean, pretty much most of this album is really good. And then we get to English Fire. I really like the piano part in that song. It kind of gives off a little bit of an atmospheric type vibe to it. It's really great. And then we get to Filthy Little Secret. Just some heavy guitar riffs, and just like the guitar solo in that song is just pretty impressive. I like that a lot. And then we get to a Swan Song for a Raven, which I really love the piano intro in there. And I really like Sarah Jezebel Deva's vocals just sound really beautiful and ever. And this song is just very inspiring. I like that a lot. And then we get to a Mother of Abominations, which is I really love the riffs, and Danny's vocals just sound really good. And now I have a special like a bonus version I think of this, which is and the last song on this is I mean if you get the regular version I think it just ends with Mother Abomination, but this version is basically the next song on there is another version of the title track Nymphetamine, which is fixed, which honestly it's just a shorter version of the Overdose. I mean, there's not really much to comment on that song. But overall, Nymphetamine by Cradle of Filth is just a really good album. It's very inspiring. Like you could tell like the band pretty much were inspired or from like I don't know really how to explain it. It just feels like they're like what they came up with is just very inspiring to what the listener to what you all would have to hear. If I were to get this score, I'd probably like just give this like a great 9 out of 10. It's just a really good album. I know people have like mixed feelings, but seriously, just listen to this album. You'll like it. So yeah, that's my review of Nymphetamine, guys. Thank you guys for watching. See you on the next review. Keep it metal.